Good morning. It's November 7th. It's 10 o'clock. I call to order. We have all three county commissioners here. I ask you rise for a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will have consents and approvals.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 4 exonerations for $1,432.55. Vouchers for General County Fund, $250,975.40. Coal severance, $2,687.71. 911, $403. Chestnut Ridge Park, $457.85. Camp Muffley, $2,759.67. Assessor's valuation, $9,340.19. Purchasing card vouchers, General County Fund, $12,180.22. 911, $148.62. Camp Muffley, $457.53 for a voucher total of $279,410.19. We have position vacancies for boards and authorities: the Westra Board of Zoning Appeals, the Mon County Planning Commission, Development Authority, the Building Commission, Camp Muffley, and Basin-Dixon Historical Park Advisory Boards. We have fiduciary orders for November the 7th, 2018. And then we have statement of services for the Stephen Callan estate from Fiduciary Commissioner George Armistead. Mary Ann Glenn estate, also from George Armistead. Peter Saab, Cynthia Van Stafford, Fiduciary Commissioner. And Betty Jean Bender from Lynn Crane, Fiduciary Commissioner. And then there's a separate item that you'll need to take up separately.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have a separate item.
Okay. This is regarding the Betty Jane Veach estate. It is necessary to reopen this estate on April 17, 2017. It was necessary.
Right.
To reopen this estate due to some accounts not having been disposed of before the estate was originally closed. I charged the executrix $125 for my fee and expenses to reopen and reclose the estate. My expenses include $17.84 to the Dominion Post for the publishing of fiduciary notice, $16 to Carrie O'Blaney, clerk, to file the waiver of final settlement, and $1.92 for postage and copies. Dated October 19, 2018, George Armistead.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes. Great. Introduction of new employees. And I know that we have a substitute for Perry. If you want to come down and introduce yourself and introduce.
Hello, my name is Danielle Kitchen. I'm the program coordinator for the Monongalia County Victim Assistance Program. And contingent upon approval from the commission, I would like to introduce to you Meredith Maidens, who would be utilizing one of the 3 part-time positions grant funded by the VOCA grant for our county.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Welcome. And
Welcome.
And you're a very important part of our community. So we're really glad you're part of the program.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we don't have any other new employees, do we? Okay.
Not that I know of.
At this time, I'll open up comments from the public. If you could come before us, state your name, and we will give you 3 minutes and see what happens. Good morning. Anybody like to come up? Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you today?
Great.
I'm here for one reason, but I'd like to tell you about something that I noticed yesterday. Yesterday was a very interesting day in Mon County, and I had the pleasure of spending some 15 hours at one of the polling stations here. And I just wanted to tell you, I have never seen such efficiency, such speed, and such concern with making sure people were able to vote. But the system at that polling place worked perfectly all day. It was literally seconds 5 or 10 seconds, people were waiting to vote.
Wow.
And I just wanted to congratulate that team over there. They were great, and especially everybody that set it up, ma'am. And it was absolutely amazing to see it work so well, and everybody coming through there with big smiles on their faces, and it was a pleasure to be there. So I just wanted to relate that to you.
Sure.
Now, I'm here,
Wait,
oh, by the way.
Can I interrupt you just for a
Yes.
second? So, can you give Carrie your name and your address?
Yeah,
Oh, I
right,
apologize.
you're right, I was just gonna do that.
She's gonna want to send you a card.
My name is Michael Mazzaris. I live in South Park, Morgantown. Now, I'm here today at the request of the Morgantown History Museum and the behest of the director there, Pam Ball. For about the past year, the Morgantown History Museum has been working on a project, a documentary series, a video documentary series to remember things in Morgantown and Mon County. Now, the name of it is Morgantown Memories, and it's going to be at least a documentary series that will be on file at the museum. So into posterity, 20, 30 years from now, people can see these people talking about Mon County, their history here. It will also more than likely be broadcast. We're still working on that. But yeah, now this thing is not, even though it's called Morgantown Memories, it's not dedicated to Morgantown. It's going to be the greater Morgantown area, including Mon County. And I will point out that the first, well, I'll get to that in a second, the first show. On 2 days after Thanksgiving, Saturday, the Morgantown History Museum will be presenting their annual holiday display and reception. And this year, they're going to be featuring cobbler, unofficial mayor of Osage, and rock and roll star Al Anderson.
Yes.
Now, Al is 81 years old. He's been in rock and roll since the 60s. He was a member of the Dominoes. A very interesting gentleman. Al will be giving a presentation, including a question and answer session, and he'll also be singing some of his favorite popular music there. Immediately after this presentation, the History Museum will be presenting the premiere. Yes, sir.
That's your time. Oh. But go ahead, if you want to just finish.
30 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead.
They will be presenting the premiere of Morgantown Memories, the first episode featuring Al Anderson. And I'm just down here to invite the commissioners. I gave them all videos of this last week. I'd invite them to come down and check out this event 2 days after Thanksgiving. And obviously, we'd like to invite everybody in the county, everybody in Marion County, Preston, come on down 2 days after Thanksgiving to the Morgantown History Museum from 2 to 4. They're going to have a great display and the premiere of this new documentary series. And I want to thank you for letting me address you all.
Thank you, Mike.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, thank you very
I
much.
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
bringing us the information last week. So
Yes. We appreciate it. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Good morning, Mrs. Scotchell.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just was looking at the agenda, and I'm kind of confused from last week whenever I gave you all that letter of our recommendations and what we'd like to put on the agenda and why. And just wonder, will that at least be filed and recorded so that it's into the estate of Arthur P. Scotchell, so that I can get recognition to the other heirs, to what is transpiring right now, because they brought me back to their intentions that we object to George Armstead hearing any more of this estate, because it's been 9 years and there's not even been one claim that I understand even heard by George Armstead at this time to conduct the due process or whatever the process is to be on how the administration's costs are going to be paid, if at all, because the estate, the way we understand it to date, is broke.
Mm-hmm.
And I hold 2 deeds of trust, and one deed of trust was put on as if it reached its statutes of limitations. And speaking to all the banks and everything, they've never heard of such a thing, that you can just wipe me off the books and not pay me what's owed me, or give me a hearing to why you feel that I've been paid or whatever. It's just getting ridiculous. I mean, really, this county commission really needs to take heed in this. This estate should be a prime example of what the county has ignored over the years, and possibly investigate what is going on, because it's just not right.
I will ask, just suspend the rules and ask Ms. Blaney, since it's part of the record, it's part of the record of this meeting from last week, are we permitted to, as requested, to turn it to the other as a record for the other that he's requested? Are we allowed?
She doesn't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I apologize.
She wasn't present. My staff was present at last meeting.
Okay.
May I ask what
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
actually filed with the commission last week?
I gave them a letter of our recommendations and how to proceed in the estate of Arthur P. Scotchell. In fact, I have a copy of it here.
And we added it to the record, but I didn't know, you were asking for us to now turn it in.
But a letter of recommendation isn't
And-
I don't
an
know if it's
action
considered,
item for
it's
the
actually,
county
what it
commission.
says is subject, request for public hearing and examination of fiduciary commissioners' conduct and procedures in the handling and processing of Arthur P. Scotchell estate. And then it has a list of things that to be addressed,
Oh, okay.
signed by all the legal heirs, and a letter that I'd written that I needed to give them some idea
Okay.
of what was taking place.
Okay, so basically it's part of our record now.
Can I
And-
clarify?
Sure, go right
Okay,
ahead.
you had delivered a letter to each of the commissioners prior to last week's meeting.
Yes,
You
sir.
came to last week's meeting and asked that we acknowledge that we received that letter, which we did.
Yes, sir.
I have asked for a summary from our legal counsel as to where the account sits.
Okay.
I have not heard back from that yet, so we didn't have an action to take yet. I've asked for a summary of where we are, where we've been, because obviously I'm the new guy on the commission.
Well, you're actually, excuse me, sir, but Commissioner Hawkins, I've been through 3 commissions.
I understand,
It's
but
been
we
crazy.
acknowledge that we received your letter. I've asked for an update. We have not seen that yet. I don't know when we will see that, but we have acted on that, and we're waiting to get an
Okay.
update on where we're at so we can decide where we need to move forward.
Yeah,
And I
I'm-
apologize. I know it has been
I
a long time
understand.
for you.
Yes.
Well, what's pressuring me now, the first deed of trust that I hold, the way I understand it, has a banknote which will expire January of 2019, because that spends the 20 years, which leads me into more trouble if I can't get something resolved. And I've been asking for this resolved since the CTA sold the properties in June of 2011, which after the will contest, March of 2014, he took it upon himself to take the money that was put into escrow to protect that deed of trust for the guy that bought the properties, and used it to pay the attorneys
Yeah.
that lost the case. And it's just a big mess.
Right, well, that's why we're trying to find out, we want to follow the correct law, but we will then ask, we will send another letter and ask that be expedited for an answer, so then we can at least give you an answer, okay?
I would appreciate that, yes.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
thank you.
Thank you
And
for coming forward.
congratulations.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Oh, here we go, good. Come on down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Kara Brown, 4210 Persimmon Woods Drive. I talked to y'all last week about the ambulance service for Mon County. I did follow up with Dave Custer after the meeting last week. And there, as it sits now, they have to, one of their Mon EMS supervisors has to allow an ambulance from another organization to go. They have to give approval. It's not just based on the GPS system. So my question to the commission and proposal is that in the contract that is awarded in the next couple months,
Right.
that whoever is, whether it's Mon EMS or HealthNet, whoever gets the contract, that they not have to give an approval, that Mecca can look on their system, see where the closest ambulance is, and send them. Even if one of them gets a contract, that they don't have to give the okay, because that's just wasted time in response. The other thing that when my husband and I were talking about it, he said, when I spoke with Dave, he said there are 6 zones now. There's ambulances in all zones. But I was asking him if one of them goes out to, say, a wreck on 68, and then my son anaphylaxis. What's going to happen then? And so my husband was saying that there probably needs to be something in the contract that says that once one Mon EMS goes out, or an EMS, whichever one is the closest, that a second one follows into the zone, whether it's one from the main hub on J.D. Anderson Drive. So those are a couple of the progresses from last week. And even if there has to be an account or a contract awarded, I think we need to make sure that the GPS system is being able to be used, which obviously if Mon EMS has to approve, or even if it becomes a HealthNet contract and HealthNet has to approve Mon EMS going, whichever way, I think it just needs to be that Mecca gets the choice. Mecca, in the contract, it says that Mecca gets to choose whichever ambulance is GPS closest, because that will help our response times from the average of 20 minutes, which is what we had in the past. I know Dave says they're down to 14 now. But I'm pretty sure that's what he quoted me last week. But anyway, just to make sure, the other thing I think that needs to be looked at is potentially putting a substation in Cheat Lake. Cheat Lake is the second largest area after Morgantown. And I know we have one in Blacksville, but I think we need to have a 24-hour staffed substation in Cheat Lake. The problem, we had a CO detector go off in our house at 2:30 in the morning, and the fire department that came was Star City. And we live in Cheat Lake. So because I'm told, I guess, that one's not staffed 24/7. So even if we had an emergency, if we needed AED, we couldn't get that for 20 minutes because they'd be coming from Star City. So those are all issues that living in the Cheat Lake area we have, which makes me want to move back to South Park and be 2 minutes from the High Street station. So, but those are just some of the developments from my conversation with Dave after the meeting last week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak? Seeing none, we will close the public portion. Colleen Kuhn, do we have any grants? Okay, we do have no grants. Okay. We have a proclamation. What I'd like to do is read the proclamation, but if the individuals would like to come stand by the podium, and then we will let you speak after the proclamation. So did you all want to come up, and then I'll read the proclamation, and then we will allow you your time. You don't have the 3 minutes, so since it's on the agenda. Proclamation. Whereas Giving Tuesday was established as a national day of giving on Tuesday following Thanksgiving, and whereas Giving Tuesday is a celebration of philanthropy and volunteerism where people give whatever they are able to give, whereas Giving Tuesday is a day where citizens work together to share commitments, rally for favorite causes, build a stronger community, think about other people and those in need. And whereas it is fitting and proper on Giving Tuesday and on every day to recognize the tremendous impact of philanthropy, volunteerism, and community service in Monongalia County, West Virginia. And whereas Giving Tuesday is an opportunity to encourage citizens to serve others throughout this holiday season, throughout the year. Now, therefore, we, the members of the County Commission of Monongalia County, West Virginia, do hereby proclaim November 27th, 2018 as Giving Tuesday, and encourage all citizens to join together to give back to the community in any way that is personally meaningful. Adopted the 7th day of November 2018, and the 3 County Commission have signed it. And if you would like to state your name and who you are and where you're from, and then you're more than welcome to say something. Mr. Sizemore?
Let's go ahead and move to approve the
Oh, well, I'll move.
proclamation.
Oh, do we have okay.
Move to second.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It passes. Now you can.
Well, my name's Rourke Sizemore, and first I want to thank you guys so much for doing that. Giving Tuesday is, it was made in response to Cyber Monday and Black Friday, right? So we have 2 days where Americans go out and we spend money. We buy things for ourselves, for family members, for people close to us, and that's a great thing, but Giving Tuesday is all about who are those people that don't have the money to go out and buy things for themselves? Who are the people that don't have those loved ones to get things for them, who are really struggling and who need our help? So Giving Tuesday is all about supporting charities. And I think Mon County is really blessed in that, is that we have so many hardworking charities that are locally run, that cover the gambit of issues and problems that this county faces. And I think a partnership between government, between charity, and between citizens of the county is so important. The strength of West Virginia to me is our sense of community. It's something that's really unique, where people care about their neighbors. You're looking out after the guy that lives down the street from you. And that's like this West Virginia feeling, this West Virginia pride. And so it's so important that we kind of we rally behind these causes, not only on Giving Tuesday, but for the entire year, because that's how these things get better. That's how community gets stronger. And some of these problems have real solutions, right? I work specifically with food insecurity, as you guys probably know, and with Pantry Plus More. And there are 2,700 kids that are hungry every month in Mon County. It seems like a huge number, and it is. It's a staggering number that shouldn't be in Mon County, but it's also a number that we can fix. It's a solvable problem. There's no reason that 2,700 kids need to be hungry every day. So these are things that, partnerships between government, between community, we can start to solve these problems. We can start to break down the barriers that are in the way for these people. And so I wanted to thank you so much for supporting this and for continuing to support charitable efforts. And I'll turn it over to Mike now.
Thanks, Rourke. Mike Miller and Tammy Miller, Sean, Tom, and Ed, thank you very much for your proclamation, allowing us a few minutes to indicate our concern for the food insecure in Mon County. As I actually can't say a lot more than Rourke has already really well communicated, but about 16% of our neighbors are food insecure. But and that's the unfortunate thing. The fortunate thing is we're blessed to live in such a giving community here. So we would just encourage everyone in the community to consider Giving Tuesday. We represent Empty Bowls, but we're also affiliated with Pantry Plus More, Meals on Wheels. We care about food insecurity just like Rourke does. We'd encourage everyone in Mon County to consider a donation to any of the wonderful agencies around here that are helping our neighbors. Thanks again, really appreciate this.
Did you want to say anything? Tammy, are you going to say anything?
What can I say?
Did you want either of you like to comment? Or?
I think the efforts that everybody does on behalf of the county should be commended. Not, really, you're standing before us, but there's a lot of great groups out there that have really stepped up and makes us proud to be in Monongalia County.
Yeah, and everything that you guys do, it makes us so proud to represent Mon County with, the neighbors that we have, the giving, people that are willing to just take the shirt off their back and give it to their neighbor. You guys are here representing one part of that, but there's so many other organizations out there that, it's just such it's such a good feeling to be permitted to represent this great county and the wonderful volunteers like yourself that do all the hard work. Thank you.
I'm thrilled. I think it's really great to be on this side, to be able to tell the three of you how much you mean to the County Commission and the residents here. I know we have one day called the Giving Tuesday, but you've been doing this through the Empty Bowls, Rourke coming up with the program, the Pantry Plus More, and the community has bought into it. And I think that's what makes this so special, this program. And we could not do it without you, and you doing it all the time, and it is amazing. And on behalf of all three of us, we want to say thank you, and we look forward to better partnerships and growing partnerships. So thank you very much. And I have a copy. I have the original and the copy for you, if you'd like.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, can I shake your hand? I am honored. Thank you very much.
That's where it all starts.
That's right. Thank you. And later on, we're going to show you. We're going to show you on TV. Later on, okay. Tomorrow, we're going to show that you're on TV. Okay. And thank you. Have a good day.
Cute.
Do we have any correspondence?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Do we have any unfinished business?
No, sir.
Okay. New business. To consider approval of the resolution as drafted by the North Central Road Caucus regarding unacceptable conditions of many roadways in the District 4 area of the West Virginia Department of Highways.
Move for approval?
Second,
Properly moved and second. Could we have some discussion on it, or?
would you like to go ahead and read it?
It's up to you.
Yes,
Okay.
I think it's important to read it.
Whereas the North Central Road Caucus has been working with various officials from District 4 of the West Virginia Department of Highways and the West Virginia Department of Transportation regarding unacceptable conditions for many roadways in the District 4 area. And whereas the unacceptable conditions of many roadways in the District 4 area continue to have a negative impact on the economy and quality of life for residents. And whereas DOH officials from District 4 and the DOT have acknowledged that the core maintenance and road resurfacing schedule set by the DOH for state highways is not being met in District 4 area for many of the roadways. And whereas DOH officials from District 4 acknowledge there is a lack of staff to maintain the core maintenance work in the entire area. And whereas DOH officials concur with the NCRC that contract labor needs to be considered to provide core maintenance for the primary roads in District 4 so that DOH staff can provide core maintenance on other non-primary roadways in the district. And whereas DOH officials from District 4 have estimated the cost to provide such contract labor to perform the core maintenance on primary roads, District 4 will require additional funds outside the current maintenance funding provided by the state. Now therefore be it resolved, the Monongalia County Commission, member of the North Central Road Caucus, requests the West Virginia Legislature immediately earmark additional funding to West Virginia Department of Highways District 4 to cover the costs associated with contracting the core maintenance on all primary roads in the Department of Highways District 4. Adopted this 7th of November.
Can you speak to it?
I would think also, since we do, yesterday being the election, and have some new representatives, that we might want to make sure that they're aware of our proclamation.
That's a good idea.
I agree.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes, aye. Passes. Thank you. Okay. Back to, I apologize. Okay. Thank you.
It's no problem.
I'm trying to read it and do it at the same time. B, consideration to sign the annual lease agreement for vehicles owned by the Monongalia County Health Department that are covered under the County Commission's General Liability Insurance Policy. Do I have a motion on that?
Move for approval.
Second?
Properly moved in second. Any discussion?
This is just a formality for us to sign this lease agreement that so that we can cover the health department vehicles under our insurance policy. So this is just a simple renewal of the one that we do every year.
Okay.
The term did change, though, I want to point out. Of course, our renewal was November the 2nd, and our policy with the now risk pool is good through June 30th
Yeah.
of
Right.
2019.
And
So
then
it
we'll
won't
pick
be,
up and be in
yes.
cycle in
Yes.
July.
Okay. Okay, it's been properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it passes. Do we have any other?
2 items.
Okay.
The first is the annual TIF report that is due to the Development Office. I already had to submit a partial to West Banco. They require one for the industrial park, so I've already submitted that. This one will go to the Development Office, and then will also have to be published in the newspaper. But it is going to require the commission to sign off on it. I know Commissioner Secor has already reviewed it. Do you feel comfortable approving it today, or do you want to put it on the agenda next week?
It's a reiteration of what was provided at the public meeting last week.
Yes.
And I didn't see anything that was.
I don't see any
out of line.
problem since it's a reiteration. Do I have a motion to do that?
Motion to approve?
Second?
Properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes. Okay.
The second is the agreement for utilization of the Monongalia County Sheriff's Office Process Transport Center. If you recall, back in January, we had some initial meetings to make some amendments regarding transportation, processing and
Right.
transportation, especially when an arrestee has medical problems, that the arresting agency will need to go with them
Right.
to the hospital. The West Virginia State Police apparently needs to have us transport for them now, so we're adding them as a signee on the agreement.
Move for approval?
Second.
Bob moves in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes. Okay. Any other?
No.
Do we have any reports from elected officials?
I just wanted,
No.
I just wanted to thank everyone for what a great job we did yesterday, the staff in the county clerk's office. And I also want to thank specifically Mike Fortney and Carlos Goss from the maintenance department. I was telling Jimmy this morning at 5 o'clock yesterday evening, we had 2 precincts that went without power at Smithtown and at Arnottsville. And Mike Fortney and Carlos took a generator, and the River Road Volunteer Fire Department, I believe, responded at Arnottsville. We had no stoppage in voting. Our equipment was able to handle a power outage, but it was at 5 o'clock when it was getting dark, and it was becoming a safety hazard. But they were right there, ready and prepared, and I can't say enough about the staff in the county clerk's office and the poll workers who worked yesterday. All the nice comments that has been said about how the election was ran is large in part due to all the people who worked very hard to make it that way. So, and all the workers who worked at early voting and did such a tremendous job. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you very much, Carrie. Kelly?
Pretty much, mine was, came to speak of our tax sale that was held here on Monday. And I also want to thank, on behalf of the sheriff and myself, the staff in the tax office, the county clerk's office. They supported us, the county commission office, the assessor's office. So it truly was, even though it's a function of the tax office, it was a courthouse event. And to our auctioneers, who sold 738 properties in 3.5 hours. They were phenomenal. Tom Wade and his son Tommy did an excellent job, and the patience of all the people that were there to purchase, everybody was cooperative, and I'm glad to report that it was a smoothly run event. And thank you to everybody for their help.
Thank
and
you
yes,
for those
great job
comments.
last night, Carrie.
Anyone else? No? Okay, Sean?
My computer froze up here for a second. Last week, since we last met, we had a OpenGov call on Friday. Carrie, you're part of that working group, but obviously you're busy with the election. But just so you know, we're really churning forward. We did a lot of deep dives into the initial reports that they had created. We found a couple chinks, things that we're trying to correct. I think our next meeting, we'll have a call next week, trying to reverse engineer the actual reports that were run out of the system. But our OpenGov project is moving along very well, and I'm very impressed with the level of detail and the quality of the reports that we're going to be once we upgrade and go live. We're going to see out on our website. This week, obviously, Tuesday was Election Day. This event or meetings I have coming up this week. Thursday, I have the Red Team meetings get moved to next Tuesday, so I won't have that. But I have my Development Authority meeting, and then Thursday night we have a Mountain Park dinner. Friday, I'm going to go to Charleston and watch MHS play in the state playoffs. So it should be a fun trip. In general, I'd like to comment, just like everybody else had referred to, I'd like to congratulate Carrie and your staff. As always, it was just a very professional, well-run election. As I talked to different people who are viewing it for the first time, everybody had nothing but compliments in regards to how well and efficiently everything ran. So I really appreciate everything that you and your staff have done for the last 2 weeks through the early election cycle, and to get us out of there early last night. It was really great. And congrats to Tom. Congratulations on your
Thank you.
reelection. But I want to commend the commission and our staff in being very professional during this election cycle, being very and impartial as you should be. People know that this is the people's commission, and we're open to that process, and we don't always have the best ideas, but I commend you on a well-run race, and I commend Andrew Price on a well-run race. And as I said last night, we try to be proactive. We're always looking forward and try to do things in the best interest of the citizens. And we never really think about elections and the consequences of our actions on that. We just try to move forward. And I do think we have a lot going on where we are moving forward in a lot of ways. And that reflects on the entire commission. So it was a first time I've seen the process from the inside, and I really appreciate your campaign and Andrew Price's campaign and all the candidates. I don't want to end on a bad note, but I am heartbroken that we won't have Joe Statler supporting us in Charleston. And Ben, I reached out to you last week. I was really disgusted by the letter to the editor that the Dominion Post printed on the Saturday before the election, because it was probably the lowest blow to a person that works as hard as Joe Statler to attack him for his education. Again, it's not your doing. It's something like that this close to election. I just, as much as Joe has supported this area, and again, I'm not talking about as a delegate. I've watched this man, with a natural disaster, hop in his vehicle and go down the road and pull over to the first person that needed help. It didn't matter what party they were in. Didn't even matter what county they were in. He would pull over and be there for months working on a house to get it up and running. And just because he thought it was part of his duty as an elected official to lead by example. So, and that's part of it. That's not part of his job that we really appreciate. In the 2 years I've been on a commission, Joe Statler's the only delegate that's ever regularly updated me on what's going on in Charleston. The biggest part of this job is trying to keep Charleston from stealing from the goodness of this county. And Joe was a watchdog out there on the front. And it's nothing against the delegates that have been elected, though they have big shoes to fill. And somebody has to take up the mantle to look out for the interests of Mon County the way Joe Statler has. So I really appreciate working with him. Again, I hate that his career ended on this note, but I hope for bigger and better things for Joe down the road. But overall, I congratulate the delegates that have been elected, and I challenge them to fill Joe's shoes.
Thank you.
That being said, where do I go?
Yeah.
I will echo all the sentiments that Sean has said. And Carrie, really, this machine that you put together for elections is just absolutely phenomenal. The voter ID card was perfect. Matter of fact, I didn't wait 3 seconds, I don't think. I mean, as long as it took them to scan my card, I was then escorted to the voting booth. So, and I have a fairly high population place there in Eastwood. So my congratulations. Congratulations to Tom. Those others who won election. Congratulations to those who lost. I've seated 3 commissioners here. I'm the only one that's lost a race. So I understand what it's like, the day after when you have to take down your signs and regroup. And am I going to miss Joe? Yes, terribly. Joe's a personal friend of mine, as well as a big supporter. And, I think that we have just really going to have to reach out to our representatives now. We're sending to Charleston and make sure that this message about the roads, everything that we need up here in Monongalia County, that we need in this area, that we really, really need a cohesive unit going down, working not as Democrats, not as Republicans, but as people that need to advance the causes of this district so that we can get the improvements in our counties that deserve it. So I will be at the Milan Park Awards dinner. That will be on Thursday, tomorrow. And Sunday is real Veterans Day. It's the 11th, and I would like for people to take a moment and consider what it really means. I know you get the day off on Monday, but look to the veterans and respect and say, hey, thank you. So,
Thank you. First, if I'm correct, was Miss Moore, right? I apologize. Your last name?
Me?
Yeah.
Brown.
Brown. See, that's why my nickname in college was Hey Yo, because I couldn't remember his name. I do want you to know that a couple days ago, I met with a group from Cheat Lake Rotary, and they voiced exactly your concerns, and I passed that on to the other commissioners, and we will take all that under advisement when we start looking at the contract. But I did want you to know your voice is being heard, and strongly by a large group of citizens out there. So we will keep you informed. So I appreciate you coming before us. I do want to thank Carrie. Carrie did an amazing job, and her staff. The voter ID cards are, I don't think we could have gone as quickly with the voter ID cards was great. And I don't think you realized it until I was trying to get information on Marion County and Marshall County, and it was 8:30 and you were just about finished. And I talked to the people and said, what do you mean you're done? They hadn't even announced their first precincts yet, early voting. So we're spoiled by you. So I really appreciate that. I am very disappointed and concerned that people may not realize, but I ran against Joe, and people think, oh, well, because you ran against him, you wouldn't like him. In fact, our relationship was probably much stronger, and I agree with Sean. Anytime I wanted to call, we knew what was going on in Charleston, and I do want to wish him the best of luck, and I do want to state to the 5 candidates who did now win, delegates now, that we want to work with them and keep that open communication. And finally, I do appreciate the support for another 6 years. And as my 2 colleagues said, and I told them afterwards, it was a referendum on the county commission. It wasn't a referendum on an individual. And the 3 of us have worked extremely well, and I think the public realizes we're working together well. And I said, most people don't realize I'm a Democrat working with 2 Republicans. No one would even know that. We have 3 Monongalia County residents here working for Monongalia County, and I just can't wait to see what we're going to be able to do in the next 6 years. So with that, I want to thank both my colleagues for their support and for the great things, and also the staff of the county that makes us look good. So with that, I'll ask for
move to approve.
You can tell we've been up. Yeah. Second, we move to adjourn. Thank you. Move to approve. Thank you very much.